All right, guys, so here I have the brand new pistol from Lancer Tactical. This is a replica of the Tandemkross Cthulhu. So this is based on a real gun. This is a fully licensed replica through Tandemkross on their Cthulhu. And in real life, it's like a competition style 22 pistol, but in Airsoft, it's just kind of a platform that a lot of us airsofters are really excited about and really like. Me specifically, this has been kind of the #1 pistol that I've been waiting for the past couple years. There hasn't really been another airsoft gun besides this that I've been really, really wanting. And I'm happy to finally have it here in front of me. And this was sent to me early from Lancer Tactical. So this video is going to be released on the day that the pistol is available for purchase. Now, this pistol is a gas blowback pistol, so it uses green gas Glock magazines, and you should be able to use pretty much any Glock style magazine in this replica. I personally have not tried CO2, but somebody out there that gets one of these will probably try CO2, and if you find out, just put that in the comments below. I just am not a CO2 guy, I'm a green gas guy, and this gun comes with green gas magazines, which is what I prefer and is typically what I would recommend. And this gun does shoot at about 350 feet per second is what I chronographed it at. On a decently warm day, it's been about like 60, 70 degrees here about, and it's been between like 330 and 350. So pretty good velocity. That's kind of where you want it to be for a pistol replica. The construction on this is basically all these like large parts, so like the upper receiver, the grip frame, the grip panels, and then the outer barrel shroud. Those are gonna be polymer, but everything else you see on here is gonna be metal. So everything that is red is gonna be metal, and then also like your compensator, your sights, your top rail, and like the slide catch is going to be metal as well. Personally, I think that's a really good choice because you get the durability and lightweight for all these large parts, but then all the small parts also get the metal stuff, which is going to be kind of a preferred choice for all of your like hardware and stuff like that, or not necessarily the hardware, but like accessories or whatever you want to call them. And then this gun is a full auto capable gun, so you can pull back on the charging handle, and then you have a selector switch inside of there, so you can do semi-auto or full auto. And then this is based on the Glock 18C system or the AAP-01 system. It's essentially all the same stuff going on. There are just a couple minor differences that I will go over later in this video, but as you can see here, just very quickly before I go on, it's pretty much like a Glock 18C style internals or AAP-01. So a lot of your like upgrade parts or replacement parts are going to fit. This gun does have a 1-year warranty, so typically I'd recommend if something breaks, just use the warranty if it's within that 1 year. If it's been a year, obviously do your own thing, but I would probably just keep this how it is. If you have any issues, just contact Lancer Tactical, and hopefully they can get you taken care of. I'm gonna go over all these accessories that are included on the gun. So you have a metal thumb ledge here. You have the Tandemkross Victory trigger. I'll talk about this in a second. And then you have an extended magazine release here that extends quite a ways. It's very easy to get to. And then you have the Halo charging handle. And then you have a new sort of addition to this system of guns is the manual safety here. And it does actually work. So if I have it cocked and I put it into safety, it is not going to fire until I take it off of safety, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later in the video. And then you do have a like a metal barrel shroud, basically. So you have your inner barrel inside of this red barrel shroud, and then you have this large polymer barrel shroud outside of the red one. And then on here is a compensator. This, I'll talk about this in a second. As again, I'm just going to quickly go over stuff right now. This is a metal compensator. It is threaded on the outside, so you could add attachments to the outside. So like here I have just like a cow thread adapter, and this does thread into there. So if you wanted to, you could run this the gun with the compensator with like a tracer or something else. Although if you're going to run a tracer, I'd probably recommend not using the compensator and just have the tracer back here. But that's obviously up to you. And they just allow you this option if you want to use it. And then you also have your fiber optic sights. So these are metal fiber optic sights. Front sight is fixed in place. It's a tiny bit different, so I will go over that in a second as well. And then the back is an adjustable rear sight, so you have windage and elevation, and it is fiber optic as well, obviously. And I will talk about this as well in a little bit. There's a few parts on here that I'm going to talk a lot more about, but a few parts I just wanted to just kind of show you all the parts real quick there for you. Now, basically, so there could be different versions of this gun. So my specific version, the early release version, comes with a compensator. It also comes with an RMR mount, and I will show you how to mount this. You might not be able to see very well with the camera, but this is an RMR mount. And then it also comes with a thread protector. So I would just check the listing before you buy to see exactly what you're getting, because there could be different versions later down the road. But at least right now, the first version, it's going to come with the compensator and those two other things. But everything else on this gun should be default coming with it. So all the red parts should all come with the gun no matter what. All right, so I'm going to do a little comparison here for size for some of you, because I know a lot of you that probably follow my channel are into the AAP-01, so you're going to have that gun for reference. So I'm just going to use that gun to show you the size difference. This pistol is actually pretty big. It's a lot bigger than I would have assumed, but it's not too big. It just is, it is quite a bit bigger than I assumed it would be. This is going to be a little bit difficult to get this on camera, but hopefully you'll be able to make do. So if I line them up at the back where the bolt is, you can see the size difference there. So quite a bit longer than your normal AAP-01. And then also I grab like my Black Mamba kit. It is also longer than the Black Mamba kit. It's about the same length as the Mamba kit with the compensator. It's about the same length as the Tandemkross gun without the compensator. While I do have those guns, I will sort of show you here that this gun is compatible with like the AAP-01. So you could throw whatever existing uppers you have on here, or you could throw the lower on a different gun. So you can mix and match these two things with other guns as you see fit. I mean, here I have like my main AAP-01 pretty much. And now this upper will easily go onto this lower here. And then the other way works as well. So you could put the upper on one of your existing lowers as well. So pretty cool. You can go both ways. It's nice that things are staying compatible here. So you can do upgrade parts and stuff like that. Or if you just want to swap things to be unique and interesting, that works as well. And then now there is one thing that is not going to be compatible. The AAP-01C upper is not going to be compatible with the lower because it has this little like lip on here. So if any of your different uppers have the lip, that's not going to be able to work on here because this has a little extra shroud that pops up. But if it has like the normal bottom where it doesn't have a lip, these ones will go on to the Tandemkross Cthulhu. Pretty much time to start going in depth with some specific things. Now, if I remove the upper, I'm going to go over the compensator first because there's a couple things in this whole area that I'm going to talk about. It does just thread on to the threads, but the paint is really thick. So I'm going to show you what you need to do to get rid of the paint pretty much. Or at least it was thick on mine. Some of the future versions may be different, but mine, the paint was pretty thick. And I have been told by Lancer Tactical that if you remove the paint, on this specific gun at least, I didn't ask about the other guns, but at least on this gun, if you remove the paint, your warranty is still good. It is not voided like it would be on a lot of other replicas. So you are good to remove the paint to install the compensator on here. I'm just going to remove the entire outer barrel from this, just because there's a couple things I need to show. And then, as you can see, it's essentially the same thing as what you may be used to on like the AAP-01, except for now the top rail goes over the barrel, so that needs to be undone. But basically just these two screws, and then if you have the top rail on, you got to remove that screw. And then once that's done, you can remove the outer barrel. Now this is pretty tight, so you need to be a little bit careful when you remove this. And this is a little bit awkward because I'm in a little bit different position for filming than I normally am. All right, there we go. And then as you can see, it's just a hop-up that's pretty normal. Now it is different. They have a different arm on there, and then they have an I key is included on here. So there's an I key in there. So for those of you that are gonna want the I key anyways, this comes with it, so you don't have to worry about installing it yourself. It's already there for you, which is pretty nice. And that's kind of a theme of this gun is Lancer Tactical kind of wants to have this gun be sort of a pre-upgraded gun out of the box pretty much. And then obviously you can do your own stuff later on, but they want to have this kind of out of the box ready to go as sort of a pre-upgraded gun. Now let's remove the outer barrel, or inner barrel, sorry. Or I guess either way works. Okay, and then this inner barrel is pretty long. I don't have the exact dimensions, unfortunately, but it's over 150 millimeters. I just don't know exactly what it is. So this barrel shroud is kind of like complicated, I guess, for how this works. Guess I should probably remove. Sorry, still getting used to kind of doing this, so. Okay, there we go. So this is just like a sleeve. So basically what holds this all into here is the combination of the thread adapter with this rear base threaded piece. So these just go in and then they screw together. Now I will recommend probably Loctiting one of them on. So probably Loctite the front threads on if you want to keep the threads. Is probably what I would do, just to make sure that it's easy for you to like take apart and put back together, because obviously there's threads on both sides, so it can get a little bit crazy trying to undo this. But this piece is metal. When I first saw this, I thought this was plastic, but and after testing it, this is a metal piece. And then this is metal as well as the threads. Now the orange paint is really thick. I am a little bit lazy and I'm a little bit destructive, so I just took a wire wheel to this to get the paint off. But you could also use whatever sort of paint stripper you want to use. And then I had to do this to put the compensator on. The paint was just a little bit too thick for me to thread the compensator on, but once I remove the paint, it threads, obviously. Right. And then the other thing that's a little bit different on here is the front sight. I haven't tested putting any of the other like AAP-01 front sights on here because it is different. But I can remove this one screw here. And then this is also, so this is still screwed on, basically. So there is a metal screw that is in there. That is what will hold the front sight on in the front, and then obviously the second screw will hold it in place so it doesn't like wiggle around. And then this screw is removable just through this hole at the bottom. You do need to have a long Allen wrench, and that's part of the reason why I didn't test removing this, is because I don't have a long Allen wrench, but that is basically what holds on the front sight. And if I look at a AAP-01 front sight next to this, the holes are different, but this is polymer, so if you really wanted to put on a different front sight, you definitely could. You just have to drill some holes. This outer barrel is compatible with kind of your like aluminum outer barrels if you want to put those on there. That's kind of a theme of this pistol, is they really want to make sure things are compatible so people can do kind of whatever they want to do, which is pretty nice. And then typically with this barrel shroud, basically, I leave one side on, and then I put it in there. And then this piece goes in, and then I kind of start this with my finger, and then I will come back and tighten it up extra once I get it most of the way in. Okay, and then now it's tight, but it's not super tight. You can grab onto it with a wrench, and we can really crank down on it to make sure it's not gonna move on us. And then the compensator just goes back on. All right, yep, and that is good. Just kind of double check to make sure it's good. And then the compensator, it is flat on the bottom. If your compensator is not aligned, just use like a table and then just set it down on the table real good, and that will make the compensator line up flat on there. We can put this back together now. We'll go ahead and put this back on. I will remove the top rail so I can show you guys what it looks like without the top rail while I'm here. Just screw these screws in and I'll show you what it looks like with the top rail on. Alright, so that is what it looks like without the top rail on. Personally, I'm probably going to use it like this, personally. I think it looks really nice with just the sights. But obviously, it is up to you, kind of whatever sort of configuration you want to use it in. Now, I will show you the differences back here with the rear sight. So this rear sight is way different. So the rear sight is actually just attached to the frame. The rear sight does not hold in the bolt. The bolt is held in with something else, and I'll show you that. But you do have to remove the rear sight to get to that part. All right, so basically, this pin right here needs to be punched out. Now, the first time he punches out, it might be kind of difficult because I think it was glued in from the factory. But after you punch it out once, it should be pretty easy to take in and out. Although I would recommend only taking it in and out when you have to. It's not a good idea to put these pins in and out a bunch. So I would just do it if you want to switch. All right. And yeah, it's a little knurled pin, basically, is all that is holding in the front of the sight. And then you need to remove the big screw in the middle there. And that screw is the screw that would adjust your elevation. And then obviously the windage is going to be the screw on the side if you want to adjust that. And then there is underneath, there is a spring. So just be careful, don't launch it across the room. But once that's out, you can see here that there's these two screws, and these two screws are what hold the bolt into place. All right, so basically those two screws need to come out, and these screws are glued in from the factory. At least that is my belief. You need to be a little bit careful with them. You could think that when the rear sight's on here, if you remove the whole back piece, like the fiber optic set, this whole fiber optic thing comes apart if you unscrew this screw. You might think that you can barely get in there to adjust or to unscrew those screws, but really I don't recommend that because you're going in at a weird angle and these screws are glued in. So really the best thing to do is to just go straight up and down, just remove the whole piece so you don't have to worry about stripping your screws or anything crazy like that. So we'll go ahead and unscrew these. right, and then this comes out. Now, the first thing you want to do when you take this out is you want to make sure you remove this piece here so that it doesn't get flung across the room on accident, because if you move this bolt around enough, I think there's a potential that you could lose this piece. This is essentially the block that keeps the bolt into the gun. So it goes into that spot there. So this is essentially replacing what the rear sight on an AAP-01 typically does. But I think this is a much better system because you don't have to worry about over tightening the rear sight and having it drag in there. Now it's basically, instead of the screws pushing down, the screws on here are basically pulling up on the block. So definitely a better design choice than the AAP-01. Now this bolt is completely compatible with the AAP-01, so if you want to change out your bolts to like a lightweight one or get like a metal guide rod or something like that, that is totally something that you can do with this, which is pretty nice. And then the rear sight, these screws they were like super glued in when I got them, so I had to use a heat gun to remove them, and you need to be really careful with these screws, because I started to strip one of them, but I caught it in time. And then yeah, they're just two screws that screw up into the rear sight in there. Okay, and then there you have it. So it's literally flat up here. I mean, there's a little like grease and stuff and glue from the stuff that was attached. But if you want to have this be just a very clean, like just a flat top, that's definitely possible. You need to remove that little silver screw in the front of here that I talked about earlier. But you could have the entire top of this just have nothing if you really wanted to. Yeah, I mean, this just comes off. It just is those two screws, and it's screwed in from the inside. It's a little bit more work to get to, but I think it is a better, like a better choice. They've kind of kept most of the important things, but they have made improvements where there is sort of a need for an improvement. And the rear sight was definitely one of the weak points of the AAP-01. Now we have the RMR mount here, and this mount is going to mount to these two holes right here, and then it just goes on like so, pretty much. Now this one is, the screws go on from the outside, so you need to put the entire bolt back in before you put this on, because this is going to cover up, it's going to cover up the screws to put the bolt in. So you need to put this all back in together. And then one thing to note with this RMR mount, it is not going to be compatible with the full top rail. Like, it makes sense because obviously you don't need two optics, but just keep that in mind. You will have to remove the whole entire top rail if you want to use the RMR mount. All right, so now you have that. So that's what it looks like. I'm not going to put an optic on here, but you have 3 different systems that you can use, which is obviously something that's nice to have different choices on here. So this should be able to accommodate most optics that are out there. Okay, I'm going to put this away so I don't lose this, because I may decide to do this in the future. Right now, though, I'm planning to use iron sights with this gun. If I do an optic, it'll probably be on the RMR plates. I like putting the pistol sights on there. I think they look pretty cool. I'm going to put this back on real quick, but after this, we'll get into the lower and some of the differences on the lower. All right, I got this going back on, but overall, I think the upper is pretty nice. They have made basically smart improvements. They haven't made kind of like dumb like choices. This is a really big deal, I think, at least. Having the bolt blocked in there by these 2 screws that are pulling out. They're pulling out. They're not pushing down on the bolt, which is a great thing because that means that you can tighten these screws and you don't have to worry about restricting the movement of the bolt, right? Putting the rear sight back on is pretty easy. It just is this little screw here, right? And then I like to put the elevation adjustment screw in first before I put the pin in. I feel like that's a safer way to do it. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Super simple. It's as you would expect. It's pretty straightforward here. Right, and then don't tighten it too much because you got to put the pin back in, and you need a little bit of movement to get this pin in. And then you just need to punch it in basically. But yeah, so I don't have anything like Loctite down or like super tightened because I'm taking this gun apart a bunch, and I just don't want to have anything like semi-permanent until I'm done with the video. But just make sure that obviously the ring here is real tight and real good. The front compensator is real tight and real good, or whatever muzzle device you have on there. And then make sure that the rear sight is all good to go as well, because those are the three things on here that can move around when you're punching in that pin, because there's a lot of force going on pretty much, and I just don't have everything properly tightened down just because I'm taking it apart a bunch for this video. Now getting into the lower here, this is has two changes basically. It has a new way to catch the bolt, and it has a new way of putting the gun on safety, going from safety to fire. Now, I will also comment on the trigger before I take this apart. This is the Tandemkross Victory trigger. A lot of you guys that are into the AAP-01, you are probably aware that there is a trigger out right now that looks similar to that. It's a popular upgrade trigger, and that trigger is based on the Tandemkross trigger. I do have the upgrade one on this gun here. And it is pretty much, it's very similar, but they are different. They are not just like a copy of each other. Although like this trigger is not licensed, obviously. They're just kind of stealing the design. This is a licensed trigger through Tandemkross. And now this has an adjustment for the over travel. There is not an adjustment for the pre-travel. But honestly, if you are into shooting guns and replicas, like the pre-travel really is not like a thing you have to worry about. You just kind of need to learn how to pull the trigger. The over travel is the one that can actually have some differences going on, and you can receive some performance increases. But typically my recommendation is to just feel where the reset is, and just stop your trigger when the reset happens. But that's just me. But you do have the over travel that is adjustable. I have kept mine in stock at the stock adjustment. But you can adjust it further if you want to. And then you do have an extended magazine release. This is removable if you want to. I don't know why you would want to, but if you want to maybe make it a little more like sleek or streamlined or whatever, you could definitely remove this. And it would be a little pointy magazine release, or if you wanted to replace it, or maybe you wanted to just like paint this a different color or something, you can definitely remove it pretty easily. And the front thumb ledge is just held in with the pin from the trigger, and then the screw over here on the side. And this pin does actually go all the way through, so it goes from here on the outside all the way through flush to this side. This is not like a typical AAP-01 like accessories. So like this one here, this one, the pin is like inside of here because the pin is just not long enough to go all the way out. This one was designed with the thumb ledge in mind, so the pin goes all the way through. Let's go ahead and talk about the slide catch here. Basically, it is just connected to the slide catch on the inside with a little like pin, basically. And you have to use this slide catch because there's not a cutout here for like your like Glock style slide catch. Like this one here has a cutout in the frame. This one does not have that cutout because it's designed for the Tandemkross style slide catch. But I'll show you how to remove that here in a second because it is different, and if you've never done it before, you might be a little bit confused or something, but it's not crazy. Okay. So to remove this, you need to remove this grip panel here. And these are the Hive grip panels. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I do have the real version of this gun in real. I have the real Tandemkross Cthulhu. I might do a video after this, but I have some different like options on mine. I don't have this type of grip on mine, but this was an option that I could have gotten. I just didn't get this grip when I chose mine. This is basically just a replica of their Hive style grip. And then it just pops out. It's just a little plastic panel on here. And now this up here, basically you need to lift it up and then pull it backwards, and then it will find the little like keyhole in here basically that the slide catch runs into, right? And when you work on the back of the gun, I recommend just removing this so you don't have to worry about like losing this or anything, because you have to remove the panels to take apart the gun. And this is just held on by that keyhole in the panel, and now the panel's gone, the keyhole is not going to make sure that it stays in place. Once the panel's on, it is for sure staying in place. Without the panel, it can move. So I recommend just remove this when you take apart the gun. It's really simple, right? And then basically, in case I didn't show you how this safety works, I'll show you right now before I take it apart. Basically, if you look inside of there, there's a little part in there that will block the sear. You can see it easier now when the hammer is not cocked. It's not really going to do much when the hammer is not cocked, but when the hammer is cocked, it will block the sear, and it will prevent the sear from releasing. And it just goes up and down, obviously, with a little like gear system inside of there. Now, to remove the whole rear housing, you just have to remove the pins. You do not have to remove the safety to get to the internals back here. So pins, just these two pins need to come out. This is a little bit new gun, so I'm just gonna tap them just to make my life easier. You have to remove the other panel. I am very sorry about that. I was getting really confused. I'm like, why is it making a weird sound and why isn't it coming out? And it's because of the panel. So this panel needs to come out. I don't know if I showed the other side, but the other side is pretty bare. There's not much going on this side. And that just is replicating the real gun again. On the real gun only comes with like a right-handed version. And there's nothing on the other side. So if they're replicating it, obviously they're not going to put stuff on the other side. Now I can get the pin out. I'm an idiot. Okay, so those pins are all out. All right, so now the pins are out, and now you can freely remove the whole hammer housing. Now you do need to be careful of the fire pin lock. It does like to shoot out. This one more than some of the other replicas that I have dealt with. So first thing you want to do is just make sure you have your hand over the fire pin lock, and then you want to get it out of there right away, so you don't have to worry about accidentally losing it. But the internals is pretty much exactly the same as an AAP-01. The biggest difference that I have seen is the pin that it goes through the hammer and the firing pin. That pin is different. This pin is like a knurled pin, so it is flush. It does not stick out like the AAP-01. The AAP-01 pin does stick out. This one is knurled, so it's flush. And the reason it's flush and knurled is because of the safety. The safety needs somewhere to go, and that was the easiest thing for them to do, I assume, is just to make that flat for the safety to function. Now you can, this is obviously what you would expect. You can swap all of your upgrade parts into this if you want to. Some things may need minor modifications. Like I know that the slot for the firing pin lock is just a hair too skinny for the cow one. So you just need to file down the cow one just a hair, and it'll work in there. But pretty much everything else will be like drop in. And you can even replace the housing as long as you transfer over this pin into the new housing. You can do that. Or if you want to just disable the safety, Probably the best way to disable the rear safety here would be to just put the normal AAP-01 pin in there instead of the knurled pin, because that will prevent the safety from engaging, but you will retain the thumb ledge, and it won't be loose. It'll be restricted to the one spot. The other way that you could disable it, if you really wanted to, would be to remove the piece inside. Now I'll show you this, because this is, again, a very simple thing that, again, I keep reiterating this. Any of the changes that they have made have been very thought out, and they're very specific, and they're not overly complicated. So obviously unscrew that, and then once that's unscrewed, this piece can sort of rock out, and then the silver piece in here can come out. I do also need to mention that this is kind of loose, so just make sure you're careful with this, you don't lose this. But once the red piece is not in the gun anymore, you can remove the silver part, and this is the part that actually blocks the sear. And it's just held in there by some plastic molding. All right. And this sear, or not sear, the sear block or whatever you want to call it, it'll function with pretty much any other housing. You just have to obviously make sure you have the correct pin in there. But this basically just will block, like this little part that sticks out here, will block the sear and prevent the sear from pulling backwards and releasing, which is pretty cool. That it's literally just 3 extra parts that you need, and then a change in the molding. But to put it back in, it's very simple. Obviously, kind of look at it first, and you can tell that there is basically 4 teeth on this, and there's 3 teeth on this. Obviously, they're going to mesh together. And then when you are lining this up in the gun, you just need to make sure that the teeth are going to mesh correctly. Obviously, if you have it different, like so or whatever, it's not going to work. I mean, it might go into the gun, but it's not going to function properly. Make sure that when you put it back in, the teeth are all meshing correctly to each other. And then, yeah, it just goes in here. It kind of goes in straight up and down vertically. And then you have to kind of just shove it around a little bit until it gets into the right spot. Okay. And then it's easiest if you have it sort of halfway turned inside of there when you put in the red piece. And then you probably want to grab onto it so it doesn't turn on its own. And then this has to rock into place. So it rocks in like so, sort of. No. Is it rolling on me? No, I got it. Yeah, so rock into place, and then just make sure you line it up on the screw hole there, and then you should be good to go. And then obviously just make sure that it does go up and down once it's back into the gun, to make sure that there's nothing like getting stuck or anything. But you can see in there that little paddle, how it turns and stuff. So when it's down, the sear can freely move through that like cutout area. When it's up, it just completely blocks the sear, and the sear cannot release on there, which is how it works basically. And then that's pretty much all the new stuff. As you can see on the inside, the front piece is going to be compatible as well with AAP-01 parts. It even has like the cutouts for the safety, even though there's no cutouts for the safety on this. It's exactly the same stuff. Like, they really are trying to make sure things are going to be compatible. I'm going to go ahead and put this back together now. And then obviously this piece needs to go on here in keyhole, and then it needs to find its way there. And then we can put the panels back on. Now this one, you need to be careful you don't over tighten the top screw, because if you over tighten the top screw, it's obviously going to have some issues. And then once it's on, just test it. Make sure it's not too tight. You should be able to put the magazine in, and it should be able to push up this, and then you should also be able to pull down and have it push back up. So it's good to go there. Just if it doesn't move when you put the magazine in, you tighten that screw way too much, and you got to loosen it. There we go. It's back together now. All right, so that's about it. That's everything you need to know about the brand new Lancer Tactical Tandemkross Cthulhu pistol. This is definitely something that I have been waiting for a long time, and I am super excited that's out now. I'm definitely going to be using this as sort of my main gun for a while, just to get used to it, and I may come back with like a review after using it for a while, but for now I just got a video just kind of showing you guys everything you need to know about this gun. It's obviously based on like the AAP-01 style system basically, and it's nice that they've kept compatibility, so pretty much everything's compatible. I have tested a bunch of things in here, and most things are going to be compatible. Some things may require minor fitment, but that's kind of how it is with airsoft guns. But it is essentially the same system, so you can do all sorts of different upgrades and stuff like that. But they kind of designed this to be kind of basically pre-upgraded out of the box. Obviously, you have your upgraded externals, and then you have some internal improvements as well. Pretty exciting that it's finally out, because it's been a long time in the making. I've seen this at SHOT Show twice. I've just been waiting for it to come out because this is really something that's really cool, because I do have the real version of this. I have the real Tandemkross Cthulhu, and I'll show it here in a second. I'm just saving that till the end because I know a lot of airsofters don't care, but some of the airsofters do care, so I'm just putting it at the end. But it's really nice to finally have a replica of it that I can use for practice and stuff like that. But the main thing is this piece right here. I am super excited about this because I have this on my real one, and literally this is kind of the best thing ever. This thumb ledge here is it might be more beneficial than the front one, in my opinion. I do really like it. Like after using it, like it's hard to not use it. And I'm happy that finally we have one on a airsoft pistol. And then again, like if you don't want to use the safety, like I think you should. There's no reason not to, but if you want to disable it, you can see through there that pin. That pin is the pin that you need to replace with like an AAP-01 pin if you want to disable the safety. But I recommend not disabling it. I haven't had it out in public at all or anything like that, but I've let a couple of my friends see this, and they really like the trigger. The trigger is very nice out of the box. It's a really short reset, and then a really short break. It's very crisp. So that's as far as you have to pull it back to reset, and then that's all you got to do. And then obviously I can shorten up the pull a little bit by changing that screw out, because I do have some extra movement at the end after I pulled it. But and then I have a quick addition to this video. So as I said earlier in the video, I do actually have the real version of this. So this is actually my real Tandemkross Cthulhu. So basically, it's a Ruger Mark IV that's been completely redone with all of the Tandemkross upgrades, including the whole Cthulhu frame and all that sort of thing. So I do have a couple different choices than what is on the licensed replica from Lancer Tactical, but I'm just going to quickly show you that it's pretty much exactly a replica of the Tandemkross Cthulhu. Now, I am obviously not an idiot, so this is fully cleared. So as you can see, there's no bullet in the chamber, and there's nothing in the magazine. Now, the thing that's nice with this gun is obviously you have these extended thumb ledges, so you can get a really good grip on both, with both of your thumbs, basically. So they're basically, if you're into rifles, these are essentially like front grips, basically, but for pistols. And then, as you can see, on the Lancer Tactical gun, they have it copied. They are different finishes. And they're a tiny bit different dimensions just because they're inherently different. Because the size of this gun is a little bit different than the size of this gun, just to accommodate like the Glock magazines and the internal system, because the internals are obviously very, very different. And Lancer Tactical wanted to keep the compatibility with the AAP-01 system, so the dimensions are a little bit different, but all the features are all the same. So you obviously, on the real one, you have the Tandemkross Victory trigger, and this is a very, very, very nice trigger, super adjustable, and it's extremely, extremely crisp. And then on the Lancer Tactical, you obviously have that trigger that carried over there, albeit it's a little bit different, just because the internal mechanism is different. So it's a little bit different, but the silhouette is going to be as close as possible to the real one, basically. And then I have different grip panels, so I basically have sort of 1911 style grip panels instead of the hive grips on this. So the real version of this hive grip is like a wraparound grip that goes around the entire sort of grip, I guess. I don't have the real version of it. It's just not what I chose when I was building mine. But this is like a choice you can get on the real one. I just don't have that choice. And then I have a different color for the side catch, but like the way the side catch like connects on the inside is exactly the same. It's the same sort of like keyhole in there. And then you obviously have the rear safety on this. It's not going to work because it's not cocked, but safe. So obviously it's not going to shoot. And then fire, it'll shoot. And then same thing with the Lancer Tactical. So yeah, I mean, pretty nice. And then they do, as far as I'm aware, they only make right-handed versions of this in real life. So, you know, the opposite side is just going to have nothing on it pretty much. And then obviously Lancer Tactical copied that. And so the other side is completely blank. So this is pretty much a right-hand only gun. But that is to be expected, just because that's the way that the real gun is that it is trying to replicate. And then obviously the grips are going to be a little bit different. So I have like the grip panels on the sides, but it is like by itself without the grip panels, it is pretty thin on the real gun, and the airsoft gun is pretty thick because it does Glock magazines. And then you can just kind of see the difference in the magazines. Like, it's a massive difference in how big they are. But I think they did a good job because the overall dimensions of like my gun with the grip panels is very similar thickness to the Lancer Tactical Tandemkross. So I think dimensions should be close enough that you're not going to really notice a difference if you do have the real version of this. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to sort of show you a comparison real quick because a lot of you don't even know that Tandemkross is a real company that makes real guns. Some of you may just see this as like Lancer Tactical's AAP-01, but this is actually based on a real gun, which is pretty cool. And then I do a little bit of competition with this, so I'm pretty excited to now have a training aid that's going to match with my competition pistol, which is always a plus to have sort of an airsoft counterparts to your real gun for practicing and training and that sort of thing. Now, I don't have much else I need to say here, so I think I'm going to probably end this video here. I hope this video was enough information. You know, I'm trying to have this video have everything you need to know, but obviously I could miss a few things along the way, but hopefully I covered everything. If not, I will probably leave it down in the description below or the comments if there's something that I missed that is... If there's something that I missed that's important, I will definitely make sure to leave that in the comments or the description down below. But this has been the new Lancer Tactical Tandemkross Cthulhu gas blowback replica pistol, and that's pretty much all I have for you. So yeah, have a wonderful day. And then definitely, if this is something you're interested into, definitely look into picking this up, because I know they are going to be in pretty limited quantities on the day of release. But there will be more on the way. So if they get sold out, you should be fine. You just might have to wait a little bit till the second batch of these comes to America. But that's it. Have a nice day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if this video was useful for you. And make sure you check out the link down below. That is a link to our Discord server, and you are welcome to join. All right, have a nice day.